they're ready for this. You know what time it is? It's about that time of the week to showcase what you got, the talent that we have. It's a whole lot. You can sing, you can dance, you can rap, you can write. It doesn't matter. You know what time it is? Put your hands in the sky and wave them side to side. Every foot alive. It's Talented Thursday with Kimberly Eichelle. Let's go. I don't think they're ready for this. You know what time it is? It's about that time of the week to showcase what you got, the talent that we have. It's a whole lot. You can sing, you can dance, you can rap, you can write. It doesn't matter. You know what time it is? Put your hands in the sky and wave them side to side. Every foot alive. It's Talented Thursday with Kimberly Eichelle. Let's go.
Woo! Hey, y'all. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. You know what time it is. That's right. Time for our Talented Thursdays. And I'm your girl, Kimberly Eichelle. Thank y'all for hanging in here tonight. We were having some technical difficulties, but you know what that means to me? That the show is going to be good. And y'all know, like they say in show business, the show must go on. Welcome in, family. I'm so glad to have you all here tonight, and it is going to be a great time. I'm not going to hold you long, but I'm telling you, you are in for a treat. My guest tonight is amazing. So come on in, come on in. Tell a friend that Talented Thursdays is on. I am excited. I'm excited. As you're coming in, let me know where you're watching from. I have Ferris Coates who is in the room. He said, hey there, hey there, hey there. And I also have Charlene Carla. She dropped in early, okay? She said, greetings from Jacksonville. Greetings to you, my sister. Thank you so much for coming in. Technical difficulties is something that we do not have control of, right? But something that y'all do have control of is pressing that like button and that subscribe button and that share button, okay? As we prepare for tonight. Now, I got to give this quick word before we get started tonight. I want to talk about holding on to your joy. I felt like I needed to say this to someone tonight. There are a lot of things in this world that tries to steal our joy. There are situations and circumstances that arise that were unexpected. It may be sickness. It may be due to relationships, somebody getting on your nerves, finances, the news. We don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, but I don't want anyone to steal your joy. I need you all to hold on. The joy of the Lord is your strength. The Bible says that in Nehemiah 8 and 10. The joy of the Lord is your strength. We have to have faith in God. So when things begin to come and try to shake us, they can't shake us because the joy that we have is internal and not external. That means nobody controls your joy, no matter what comes and no matter what goes. So whoever this word is for tonight, be encouraged. The joy of the Lord is your strength, and you're going to make it. You're going to win. You hear me? You're going to win. Now, I want to talk about tonight's guest, y'all. I've known tonight's guest for many years. And although I knew that she was very talented until recently, I had no idea of how legendary she really is, okay? She's always been very kind and humble. I can attest that although her resume speaks volumes, her boast has only been made in the Lord. With a career, you all, that spans decades of television, stage, music, and film, Vonciele is a name that should be as big as those she's graced the stages with. She has worked with icons such as Michael Jackson, singing on the albums Bad, Dangerous, and History. Madonna's Like a Prayer, Elton John's duets, as well as projects for Diana Ross, gospel legend Andre Crouch, and many more. Her stage appearances include MC Hammer, New Kids on the Block, Patti LaBelle, Dionne Warwick, and so many more. Her voice has been the part of film soundtracks, both on and off screen, such as The Color Purple, Sparkle, and Wonder Woman, okay? And also, what's love got to do with it, y'all? So, tonight, you are certainly in for a great show. Make sure you press share and tell a friend that Talented Thursdays is on, y'all, and it's going to be good. You're watching Talented Thursdays with Kimberly Eichelle.
I don't think they're ready for this. You know what time it is? It's about that time of the week to showcase what you got, the talent that we have. It's a whole lot. You can sing, you can dance, you can rap, you can write. It doesn't matter. You know what time it is? Put your hands in the sky and wave them side to side. If you feel alive. Talented Thursday with Kimberly Eichelle. Let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. Y'all know how we do it. Put your hands together out there. Give me the drum roll for none other than my friend, the artist, Vonciele Faggett. Come on in, Von. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yes, indeed. Welcome, welcome. It's been so long since I've seen you. I know that you're traveling right now, so I count this both an honor and a privilege to have you here tonight on Talented Thursdays.
I'm glad to be here. I honestly am. I feel like I don't know why. I mean, I just see me as a regular person, but I'm like I'm really thankful and grateful to you for this.
Absolutely. I am so glad. And like I said, very honored to have you. Your spirit has always been very humble. And like I said, I had no clue all the stuff that you've done. I knew that you had done some things, but I started looking over that resume and I said, my God, today, look who I got on the show. Okay. So I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So the first thing that I like to do is a portion called Rep Your City. Okay. So that's where I ask the artists and those that are watching, where are you from? And tell me something about your city that people need to see, maybe taste, or maybe experience, or all three.
I'm from Compton. Yo,
Come on
yo.
through, Compton.
Yeah. I think
Yes,
sometimes it's gotten a bad rep, but I mean, I think it's a cool city, to
absolutely.
live in, to grow up in. I don't know if we have any specialties as far as food and stuff are concerned, but I think it's a cool place to grow up. I learn a lot there.
Awesome, awesome. So listen here, Von Seal says she's representing Compton. I know that's right. I have some comments coming in. My mom actually, Herdy Randolph said, what is up, Kim? Joy is powerful. Yes, it is. We talked about that. The joy of the Lord is our strength. Charlene Carla said, on time word. Enemy trying to steal joy at work, but we declare peace. Amen. Peace indeed. And there is Coates in the building. He said he is representing San Francisco tonight. I know that's right. I'm sure Bonsil has been there because she been somewhere everywhere. And we're going to tell y'all some stories in just a few minutes, okay? So, yes, so you grew up in Cali, in Compton, and you come from a musical family.
Yeah.
So tell me more about growing up there and the musical sounds that you might have heard in your home and in your community.
Um, I mean, I grew up in a house full of a lot of different music. My brother played classical piano, so I
Mm,
got a chance to hear a lot of that. While he would be playing in rehearsal, I'd be making up operas to all that stuff.
yes.
All of my sisters sang. They used to sing with my dad. He sang. My mom played the piano, so there was just a lot of music. And my middle sister, hooked me into the Motown sound. And I
Wow.
really appreciate that because I came to love a lot of great artists and learn a lot of great songs listening to the Motown sound.
Absolutely. And that's a great sound. I tell you, it's so many people that come out of Motown. So before we go further, I have to ask you because I've known that your favorite color is blue, but what is it about blue that you love so very much?
You know, um, uh, what happened with me with the hair was, and I think this was about a good 8 years or so ago. I decided, since I was getting older, I'm over 50.
Yes.
So I
Okay.
just said to myself, I was blonde for a long time. And I said, well, now that I'm getting on up in age, I think I'm going to be a blue hair old lady. So I just dyed it
Ooh.
blue because, most back in the day, they would put that tint in their hair, older ladies and all that stuff. So I said, I'm going to be a blue hair old lady. I'm not going that far with the tint and what they did. But so I dyed it
Yes.
blue.
I love that. I love that. So look, you said I'm still having a good time and still having fun over 50, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yes,
Oh,
indeed. She said the party don't stop.
yeah. It gets better.
Say it again. Say it again.
It
So
gets
many people,
better, honey.
I know. There are so many people who think that getting older is a bad thing, and it's really
Mhm.
not. I think you know more, you learn more, and you begin to not let things worry you or bother you like they did before. You like, honey,
Exactly.
who's gonna check me? Who's gonna check me at over 50, right?
Exactly, exactly. And that, you talking about joy earlier. That's me. It's like I don't let nobody disturb my peace.
Mm.
You can't do that for me. I will walk away. But I have to protect my peace and joy.
That's
You know.
good, Vaughn. I love that. I love that. So your father was a pastor, and your first stage was actually the offering table. Okay. So you sang, from what I believe, your first solo around age 4 or 5. Do you remember
Mhm.
what it felt like just getting up there? They put you up on that table, right? Tell me about that day.
you know, um, and I wasn't too big on singing, but they knew I could sing because I would sing all the time, and they stood me up there, and for me it was nothing because I just felt like I was around the house. So I sang out and was doing my thing with it, and I had a little like robe on or something,
Oh,
and I just kind of sang because at that age I guess I wasn't stage fright or anything like that. As I got older, I became about that, to get stage fright and feel like, I'm not singing in front of all these people. But at that
right.
age, I was ready to go. It's like, okay, I'm gonna sing. I get to sing my song. Okay, I'm gonna sing my song.
That's right. A lot of times, like you said, you don't have any fear at that age. And it's like, give me the microphone. Some
Hmm.
kids are shy, but I think you were born for this. I know you were born for this. So, yeah, you was like, let me get over this stage fright early, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. So we talked about your family being singers and such, and your father was a quartet singer.
Hmm.
You also sang with him, or your sisters sang
Yeah.
with him, and you traveled with them. What was that time period like for you?
It was just fun because I didn't understand basically what that was. So for me, being on a road trip, it was just fun to like go, and being by him being a pastor, I was in church all the time, so I knew, to be quiet and that kind of stuff. And I mean, I enjoyed the music and stuff, but I loved going. It was
Mm,
just something about being in someplace different that I had never experienced and never saw. That I liked the go part of it. It wasn't necessarily what was happening at the church, but every time they was
right.
like, "Oh, we going to this," but I'm ready to go. Let's do it then. And
Yes,
watch them sing and get excited about it and clap and all that. I love to
absolutely.
travel.
Yes, and that's a great thing that you do. We're going to talk more about your travels a little later on, but those travels have not stopped for you. As a matter of fact, you are traveling even now.
Yes, as we
Yes,
speak.
indeed.
Yes, yes, I'm in
So
Nashville, North Carolina right now.
wow, wow, that's a beautiful thing. I remember traveling as a young girl as well, and we would pack. like our little lunches or sandwiches or
Hmm.
some cold chicken or something,
Yep.
because we were getting on the road. So those were fun times. And I can imagine that they were for you as
Hmm.
well. So you initially, from what we talked about, wanted to be an educator, like in elementary school. So what were your goals at that time in life?
To go to school, to go to college, and which I did right after high school for a little while, but I was already involved in music.
Mm,
By the time by the time I was a senior in high school, one of my friends had introduced me and told me I needed to go and audition for the Young Americans, which was a group kind of like Up with People kind of thing. And
okay.
and I did. So she took me and I auditioned before the season started, and they were like, "Okay, I need you to come back here in September," you know, because I had passed the audition. I was like, "Okay," and I went back, and they traveled around some of everywhere, sharing what peace, love, and the American way, like baseball and all that kind of stuff. So that
Yes.
was kind of my introduction to really performing, being on stages and stuff, traveling a little bit, with that.
Right. And
And
then also during that time period, you did some work with your brother, correct?
yes, he ended up forming a group, and we kind of some of my high school friends, we ended up being a part of his group. First, it was a choir, and large choir, maybe about 25, 30 people. Then it went down, he took it down to about 15, something like that. It lastly ended up when we recorded an album with him. It was 12 of us, I believe. And it was the ensemble. It was his name, Gary Faggett Ensemble. So
Wow, wow. So with the recording, was that your first time going into the studio with your brother?
yes. Let me see. It was the first time going into the studio. It seemed like, well, I think it was about the same time that I had actually done this, the other thing with Wonder Woman, the theme song to that show. It was about the same time when he started up the group and we started recording.
Okay, let's talk about the recording studio for a little bit because there are live singers and then there are session singers or those who perform well in the
Mhm.
recording studio. So tell me what's the difference for those who are listening to being on stage versus being on that microphone in the studio. What are the little differences that needs to be, or adjustments, I should say, that needs to be made when you go into the booth?
Um, pitch isn't perfect. It's perfect. You have to have great pitch. Hearing things, most producers will always want vocals to sink into the pocket of whatever the music is playing. What the drummer is doing. What how the pocket is kind of laid. So you have to really be able to fit into that, and it kind of depends on what they want, what kind of feel they want, with different things, very staccato or very airy and breathy, which is different from singing, live, because pretty much live, it's a felt thing and a heart thing. People will feel, kind of what you're singing, whether it's on pitch or out of pitch. You can slur in and out of things, but with the studio, it just has to be perfect, for them to get what they want, and to make it sound like how they want it to sound, because you're going to double, triple, or whatever.
Absolutely. I love that you said the stage is more of a heart thing because it's so important when you're on stage that the audience engages with you, right?
Exactly.
It
Yes.
gives a whole nother feel. When you have a dry audience and you're on stage, it's like, Lord, it's like pulling teeth.
Yes.
But when your audience engages with you and like you said, connect to that heart, it
Mhm.
makes such a great show, such a great show.
Yeah.
So yes. So singing, um, Let me see. Where do I want to go, Vonciele? So many things, so many things. Let me ask you this. When did you decide that you truly wanted to make singing your career? So you talked about, education and, possibly being in the elementary schools and that type of thing. But when did you decide, I'm born to sing?
I guess when I got with Young Americans, because it was always about 30 kids on stage, and we sang, all the fun, up with people kind of thing, classics kind of like that, depending on where we were, what kind of shows we were doing. And I think it was then the performance of it just being all American, because that's what we
Mhm.
represented. It was baseball, apple pie, pretty much. You know, um, so that whole thing, that excitement of how people looked at you, as you were performing, you would just do it, with all the gusto. And um, I think it was during those years because I always liked singing, but that gave me a sense of performance, and I'm doing it for a good reason. You know,
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's something about, I believe that there's just a passion in you to sing, that music is just something that's inside of you. You have done so much work. I want to ask just this question, and I don't know if you have an answer to it, but do you have a favorite genre to sing? So I know that you sing everything, probably from rock and roll to gospel, but is there a favorite genre when you get up, you like, oh, I'm really in my element right now?
I would probably have to say it's gospel or it's worship music, since that's what I am, a worship leader at a church. Every week, and I that would probably have to be for me. Worship for me is something personal and directed to God, directed to the Father,
Hmm.
and I just really like worship music. What it says, what it kind of creates, the feeling, in you of worshiping, knowing that Jesus loves you in spite of all that you go through, all that you do, all the
Yeah.
mistakes that you make. He still loves you, in spite of that, and knowing that. So I think it
Yes.
would be worship music.
I love that. I love that. And speaking about your faith and the love of gospel music, you made a commitment to God. You travel a whole lot. It started at a young age, and you have been some of everywhere. But you made a promise or a commitment to God that you would not neglect your work,
Mhm.
your love for him, and your church. So tell me about your church home and why that commitment that you made is so important to you.
Growing up in the church, it became something serious for me. The more I learned about who Jesus is, the more I felt compelled that I wanted to know more, or sing about that.
Hmm.
So, my church now is I'm at the Crouch Church, Andre and Sandra's dad's church.
Wow.
That's where I lead worship every week when I'm in town. And, I've been working with Gladys for many years now.
Hmm.
But when she called me to come back, which every time she would get in a little trouble or want to change singers, do something different, she would end up calling me, and I would end up going back and work with her for a little bit.
Right.
And then I'd go back on, to doing what I wanted to do. And when she called this last time, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go out here and do this, but I got so many other things on the fire and stuff. But once I got out there, I just felt like I think I need to stay because I see her getting older,
Hmm.
and I just said I think I'm gonna stay here until you're ready to stop. When you're ready to stop, we all gonna stop. And I don't know if I should have said that because she's keep going stronger and stronger, and I'm going. I ask her all the time. So, are you ready to sit down? And she'll be
Uh-huh.
like, "No." Okay, I'm still going. All right, I'm still going. But yeah, I didn't think it would be this much and this long. I didn't.
Yes.
I really didn't. I thought she would sit down. Maybe about 3 or 4 years ago or something. But she's not
Mm-mm.
ready to. And it's because of it's her love for it. That's where she's the most alive is on the stage. And I'm
Wow.
like, okay, yeah, well, let's do it until God says neither one of us can do it no more.
Uh-oh, neither one of us, huh?
Yeah.
I see how you did that there. I see how you did that there. I love it. I love it. So you have a very, very extensive resume. And you've been able to live a very full life in your career. So I'm just going to read a little bit of this, okay?
Okay.
You've recorded several times with the King of Pop, Michael Jackson,
Yeah.
Madonna, Sir Elton John, Diana Ross, Andre Crouch, and more. You have graced the stages with people such as MC Hammer, Luther Vandross, BB Winans, Patti LaBelle, Shaka Khan, Paul Simon, and more. You've done television shows such as Amen. You've done commercials such as Aunt Jemima and Reebok. You've done films such as The Color Purple, Wonder Woman, and Sparkle. And you've traveled around the globe from back when until literally today with Miss Gladys Knight.
Yeah.
Vonciele, when you hear these works and think on the many others that I haven't even named, how do you feel?
Blessed. I feel that I really feel blessed. I feel that this was the path that God ordained me to do. I
Mhm.
would have never thought being in the room with some of those people, but I know it was God ordained to be there and to be able to talk, be able to learn some things, from each one of those people. I actually, what I did not put there, which to me is still amazing. I actually did the movie Children of a Lesser God, and I actually
Oh,
have a
that's a good
feature in
one.
that movie, the Boomerang song, where she's what's her name is deaf, and she's deaf and
Yes.
she can't hear. So they playing that song very loud, but I'm actually doing the lead to it. And I was like, well, I never talk about that song. I always talk about
Wow.
everything else, but it's like you are featured on that particular song. Well, you know,
Wow.
but
Amazing. And that is a great movie. A great
yes,
movie. Yes, indeed. If you have not seen Children of a Lesser God, you need to see that. That's one that I had to watch in high school, actually. And that's just one of those movies that you never forget. You never
mhm,
forget. It's
right.
so powerful. So kudos to you on all of these things. The Bible tells us that, and I often say that our gifts will make room for us.
Mm-hmm.
Bonseal, God has done just that in your life, and I believe, like I started off this show saying that you're very humble. These are the things that you've done, you don't even talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never would have known, and I've known you for many years, and we've
Yeah.
sung together and all of those things, but I never knew until recently some of the things that you have done. So you talked about some of the lessons that you learned from some of these artists. Can you share some of those lessons with us and who it came from?
Um, yeah, I remember when we were doing the color purple, and I actually sat down. It's like me and Quincy Jones were sitting there in the middle of the floor having this great conversation, and I was like, wow. I mean, he's telling me all the stuff, things that he had learned being in the industry, but also how when that was one of the first projects that we did with him was the color purple. And from that day until he died, he vowed he would, every time he did something, he ended up calling us to come and do it. Because he was like, y'all are great. He's like, where have y'all been? After that, we recorded his album, Back on the Block.
Oh my
He just
goodness.
used us for everything. But him talking about, some of the stuff that he came through coming up in the industry as a horn player,
Yeah.
because he had to graduate to being the producer of all producers. Was just enlightening to me. His humble beginnings, of just playing so that he could get the experience of playing with different acts and stuff, different jazz acts and stuff. Trying to hone his craft. You know, and it was just a really good conversation. I remember that so well because I felt like, this I'm going to remember even later as I probably go through some things, or, some certain things come up. I'm going to
Mhm.
remember some of the things that he said, he, shared with me that day just sitting. I mean, and like I said, it was just me, we're sitting there in the middle of the floor just having a conversation,
Yes.
just talking, back and forth. And I'm like, wow, what is this? And I'm sure it's probably the light of Jesus or something that makes people gravitate to me or something.
Yes.
I do listen because I feel like I can learn something from everybody, and it doesn't matter who it is or how old they are. I can learn something from somebody. So listening to him and talk about how hard it was then, them breaking barriers
Yeah.
for the industry and stuff like that. Whereas basically it's like, yeah, you opened the door for us, to basically be able to be here and do what we're doing. You know, I appreciate that, and that's why I think some of the things that I've done, because I've learned lessons from them.
Mhm.
you know um Being able to go through the door, I've just learned some things, um and I'm grateful, for everything that God has opened me up to. And I know there's even still so much more, but I'm grateful already for what he's already done, what he's
Yes.
already showed me. I feel like I could probably sit down and say, okay, I can stop now, but I'm not ready to. I,
I
I
know
want to
that's right.
I want to experience everything that God has for me. I
Yes.
really want to experience, because I know it's great, and it'll probably leave me in a very good place,
Mhm.
in my life. And still having a career. Oh my God, at 60 years old,
That's
70
such a
years.
blessing.
I'm
Oh
like,
my goodness.
are you kidding me? Literally at 70 years old, I'm still out here on the road.
My
But it
goodness.
doesn't feel like that. I don't feel like I'm pressed or I can't make it or anything like that. It just amazes me. I'm like, I would have never thought that back then, that I'd actually be working this much. But I thank God that the telephone does still ring, and people still
Yes.
remember, and have called me, for things, to do. I'm just blessed,
Yes,
and
indeed.
and I know it. So it's nothing to really brag about or be, no, I'm just blessed, and I know that I've been blessed, and I thank God for
Absolutely. Wow, wow. I have James Beaver Miller out of Tacoma, Washington. He's watching. He said he is a big fan of yours. He said, I've been watching her most of my life. She is
it.
amazing. She is
Wow.
amazing.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. That I'm grateful. Wow.
Absolutely. You never know who's watching. You never
Never
know
knew.
who's watching. But one thing that I can say about you, Vonciele, is that your heart and your spirit is so sincere, and
Mhm.
I cannot talk enough about how humble you are. Who else can really say, Quincy Jones called me when he needed some work done? Like, excuse me, first of all, Quincy
Mhm.
got you in his, Rolodex or in his phone. That's
Yeah.
huge. That
Yeah.
is huge, And so you do have fans like that. And I definitely wanted to have you here as a guest on Talented Thursdays because a lot of times, the artist, the Hollywood artist is celebrated on such a level. Like, look at this person go, but they
Mhm.
can't go without people such as Vonciele. They can't do it alone.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
can't do it alone. If the background vocalist did not show up one day, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Talk
Mhm.
about it. If the band didn't show up one day, what's gonna happen? And
Yeah.
so I feel it's so important. And I thought of you and I'm like, I have to have Bonsil on the show. I call her
Mhm.
Bonsi, y'all. So I'm
Yes.
trying.
Yes. And that's fine. Because people call me whatever they know or feel like they want to call me. So, and I'm
Yes,
going to answer
yes.
to it. It's not a big deal for me. You know.
Yes, indeed. I've called her Bonsi for years. So I'm trying to, go with your artist name, your real name. But I'm like, Bonsi,
Mhm.
look, I am proud of you. I am proud of the things that you have done and for the light that you have been. And one thing that I heard you say was people are attracted to the light. The light, excuse me. People are
Mhm.
attracted to the light. It's not us. And
Mhm.
when we realize that, then we stay in that place of gratitude and in that place of knowing that it's not me, it's God.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
God. And if He takes His light off of me, or if He takes His light off for you, who are we?
Exactly. Exactly.
Who are we? Without Him, we're nothing.
Nothing.
But
Yes.
with Him,
Exactly.
all things are possible.
Ooh, amen. Amen. With God, everything is possible.
Everything
Mm.
is possible. Evangelist Hurdy Randolph says she is an amazing gift from God that has touched so many lives.
Oh,
Absolutely.
thank you, Mom. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, indeed. So, fun fact, Gladys Knight was one of your favorite artists growing up. Tell me how you felt when you found out that one of her relatives lived in your neighborhood.
God. I mean, I didn't believe it. And, I really didn't believe it until after I had met her, because I was like, dang, none of her relatives gonna live in my neighborhood in Compton, you know.
Uh-huh.
But I went to school with, one of her cousin's kids, his kids. But it didn't, and I would hear that too. You hear the noise and the gossip around school and stuff. But it
Uh-huh.
just never. I was like, Josh, she ain't gonna come to Compton. What she got to come to Compton for? But that's where Pip lived, and that's who they named the group after, Pip. So, and he was very important to her, you know.
Wow.
So, after working with her and stuff and meeting him with her, it was like, wow, this is really, she's about family because she's a country girl.
Yeah.
This is really your family, and that, that's wow. And okay, I was like, maybe it had to be fate. It had to be. Because I
Yes.
mean, I have loved her since the very first time I heard Everybody Needs Love, which my sister,
Wow.
like I said, was, playing all the Motown 45s. And I'm sitting there listening to them with her because it's the only time I get to hear music other than classical music when my brother was playing the piano.
Right,
And I'd
right.
make up some stuff. So
Yes.
hearing her sing that was like, wow, I love this song. I love this lady. Oh my God, and got more into her music and stuff. Because my sister was into Nancy Wilson. That was
Mm.
one of her favorites. And she sang some jazz stuff, my sister did. And
Yes.
I was like, yeah, I do. I like her too. I like how she does stuff. But it was something about Gladys that just grabbed me. And I think it's because she does sing from her soul. She sings from her heart. And she
Yeah.
usually won't sing stuff if she doesn't have a feeling for it or something. So I was like, okay, she's from Compton, and she's such a, I could say, country woman or country person. They
Mm-hmm.
speak to everybody down, going walking down the street and all that kind of stuff. She's
Yeah.
definitely that. Because when we got the introduction to meet her, and she was looking for singers for this guy that she was actually representing at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and her musical director, who had known me and Alfie and Patty for years and years and years, he's like, "Oh, I got some folk for you," and we actually went down to Gower Studios in Hollywood and did the song with him. It was the Easter Seals telethon and did that with him. And she said, "Wow, you guys are really good. Where y'all from?" And I was like, "Compton." What do you mean?
Right.
Me and Alfie lived in Compton. Patty lived, outside of LA or Watts, basically at that point, from Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, hey, this is what we do. She was like, "Wow, you guys are good. I really would like to hear you guys, do something different. You guys perform." It's like, yeah, we were doing a little club out in Carson and doing some clubs in LA. Like, I want to come and hear you, you know.
Right.
And of course, for me, it was like, sure, yeah, because everybody says that, "Oh, I want
Yes.
to come and hear you. I want to come and see you because you sounding good and doing good." She literally showed up the next week, and we were at this club in Compton,
Oh my goodness.
and she came in there and enjoyed it, had a great time,
Yes.
and she afterwards we were talking and stuff, and she said, "Y'all are great." She was like, "I mean, really great." She's like, "The band, they okay, but y'all are really great." And
Wow.
when she left there, she told the guys, like, "You need to hire them. You need to hire them." And he was like, "Well, I could probably take two of them." "No, you need to hire all three of them."
All three.
And he did. And we went to Vegas like a week or so later, with him. And he was opening for like Don Rickles, Bill Cosby, all the comedians like that.
Right.
It was shows that he was opening for in Vegas, which was where we wanted to go, was to the lounges. So, it was kind of like, oh my God, this is something here, but
Right.
she actually called our parents. She called my house, talked to my mom. She called Alfie's house, talked to her mom, and called Patty's house, talked to her mom.
I
And
cannot
she
even
wasn't.
imagine.
And
Gladys, hello, this is Gladys Knight calling regarding Vonciele.
yes, because in every household, I mean, Alfie's sisters and them, when they was jumping around and going, "Gladys Knight, the real Gladys, this is not her. This is not her."
Right.
My house, it was like, "That's the real, that's her. That's Gladys." Yes.
Oh my goodness.
About us going to Vegas because we were in her book, we were young, but it's like we've
Yes.
been doing some stuff before this, and we've kind of, been on the road and done a little bit of stuff. But she
Hmm.
was she was just wanting to talk to our parents. I was like, okay, yeah, she
I love
definitely from
it.
the South.
Yes, yes, indeed.
you know.
Yes. And look, that just shows her character because in the entertainment industry, a lot of times people don't care. They don't
Hmm.
care about you. In the
Right.
end, they just
Hmm.
want a sound. They just want your gift, and then they kind of discard you. But that says a lot about her to call your parents and be like, "Hey, I want your daughter and your daughter
Hmm.
and your daughter,"
Hmm. Yeah, he
So
was
that's
very
beautiful.
very protective of us as we were out, with her and stuff. I mean,
Yes.
she treated us like we were her kids, and it's like, oh my God, okay. I've seen the mother side of her now, but
Yes.
yeah, great, just a great, genuinely a great person. And I was like, I would have never thought that I would actually have an opportunity to meet her and to be as close to actually have a relationship with her,
That's
you
the
know.
thing, a full relationship. I often say that God makes my dreams come true. And He definitely did that for you because not only I've had the opportunity to meet different people and things like that and perform in different places, but it's something about having a relationship with
Mhm.
someone who's huge. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I watched you. You
exactly.
are like somebody that I really admire. And for you to be able to say, Hi Gladys, what we eating tonight? Or what city are we gonna be in? Or you
Ooh,
want to go shopping? All of those things, you're
yeah.
now able to do that. So you went from this young lady who was dreaming about Motown, and this is one of my favorite artists too, literally that being, like you said, a mom for you, a protector
Mhm.
for you, a friend to you. So how amazing is that? James Beaver Miller said amazing. Absolutely. Herdy Randolph said, I remember Von Seal when she was here, meaning here in Vegas,
Yes.
always humble, and her pretty Thunderbird car. Yes, indeed. We remember. We
Ooh,
remember.
yes, yes. Those were me to me were some good days. Actually,
Yes.
be in Vegas, I learned a lot. I think it grew me up some because I had never really moved away from home. I was always at home
Mm,
or close by, go on the road for a little while, but come back. But being there for the time that I was, the 2 or 3 years that we were there at the Flamingo, I learned a lot. I got to
absolutely.
see a lot, and I was like, "Ooh, okay, you sure this for you?"
Okay. Are
I
you sure?
guess. I guess. Okay.
Right. Yes, indeed, but again, God makes room for you, and you were necessary. I believe that, the entertainment industry is definitely, it can be a beast,
Mhm.
It can be something that's really tough. It can be something that's really challenging and really trying. But you have definitely been blessed to do what you do for so many years. What an honor.
Yeah.
What an honor, what a privilege, let me see. Uh Over the years, Voncio, I'm sure that you've seen some things working um that just made you go, you know what I'm saying? So what are some common mistakes that you've seen beginners make? You've been in this industry. It's time to educate. Let me just talk to the people right quick. First of all, let me tell you, if you're just tuning in, we are here with Vonciele Faggett. Those of you who are watching, those of you who may be listening, again with Vonciele, who has been in the industry for years and years. Like they say, she is not new to this. She is true to this. She's worked with some of everybody in the entertainment industry. So those of you who are watching right now, if you have a question that you want to ask live, go ahead and type it into the comments. This is your time. You talking to a living legend. You hear me? You better ask the questions that you want answered. So, with that being said, Bonsil, tell me, what are some mistakes that you see beginners make where you just like, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen them. You get so excited sometimes when you're around artists and stuff. So
Yes.
you tend to, you may not know when is the right time to approach them. It's like, oh
Mm-hmm.
no, not while they're in the middle of rehearsing. No, you don't want to do that. No,
Uh-uh.
just
Uh-uh.
just calm down. Trust me, we're gonna have a meet and greet in a minute. You'll be
Yes.
able to get up close in person, but don't mess with them while they. Because I've seen some good people, just kind of turn, and
Yes.
it's like, yeah, because you're messing with their creativity.
Absolutely.
And when they're in that mode, they're trying to get this out, and get you to understand what they want you to do, or how they want this, what this approach needs to be, or just trying to think some things through. It's like, yeah, don't mess with them then, and just
Don't do it.
cool it. They're gonna be on a whole nother level in a minute, and you'll be able to go and speak and do what, tell them all about yourself, give them a card, a photo, whatever you want to do. Don't do
Right.
it while they're trying to create. That mm, yeah, that's
Say,
just
don't you
not a
mess
good
with them
thing.
in that moment, right?
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
have some pictures here that I want to share before I ask the next question. I'm going to start with young Bunseal, okay? Look at this baby, y'all. Look at her there. Was that around the time where you started singing or did your first solo?
My first solo came kind of before that because I think I was probably about 6, 7 then.
Wow.
Yeah, my uncle was a photographer, and he was a photographer for the high schools. They
Hmm.
come and do school pictures and stuff, and
Yes.
that's what he was. So him practicing his craft on me and my brother and some of my other sister, we were all like 2 or 3 years apart, and he would just prop us up, do whatever he wanted to with us. Sometimes make my mom mad. She's like, "I just combed her hair, and you just took it and messed it all up on her," because he wanted, us to look like we was raggedy and crazy and stuff. And she'd be like, "I
Yes.
just did this," but he was a photographer, so he would take the liberties with that kind of stuff.
Wow, wow. Such a beautiful picture. I love that picture and that story. This is, I want to say, maybe Prince Albert's Hall. This was a place that you were maybe in London. Tell me about some of your travels and what it's like to perform in such a beautiful arena.
It's great to see these great arenas like Royal Albert Hall. I mean, it's just, I mean, it's like a picture,
Mhm,
being there and just to be able to say, I've been there, I've seen that, I've
mhm.
performed in that place, was just great to see where, the queen and the king would sit, the prince and all, their whole box and stuff of, and they want to come and see shows and stuff. It's just a beautiful building. And a lot of people have gone in and out of there. And I'm like, wow, I got a chance to go in here, and see this, That's why I try to take
Yes.
pictures sometimes, of places. Because a lot of times people's like, you haven't been in there to see this great hall. I mean, it's just fabulous. You've got to see
Right.
it.
You got to see it. Not only did you get to see it, a lot of people see it from this side, sitting
Mhm.
in the seats, but you got to see it from the stage. I saw other pictures of you traveling to Holland. You've been to Australia, probably every city or every state, I should say, within the United States. Where is one of your favorite places to travel?
Um, I love London. I just absolutely love it, and I think
Yeah.
it's the food, the people, um, that are there that I kind of really love.
Hmm.
Um, I loved being in South Africa when I went, just to see that and to see people that look like me, um, you know, doing what they do, thriving, and
Yes.
their whole dance, their whole language, their whole demeanor of who seeing them. And I think that's what struck me first because it's like I look like you. I mean,
Yeah.
some of those people, it was like, God, that looks just like my aunt, or this looks like
Wow.
my grandmother. It's like I can tell we related because y'all look like some people that I love.
Yes,
You know?
absolutely. Yes, like we said earlier, you started traveling at a young age and you have not stopped. You've been some of everywhere, places that people can only dream of and imagine. I have Michael Miller tapping in from Las Vegas. He's a musician, singer, songwriter. Hello, hello, my brother. Thank you for tapping in tonight. Um, Let's see. I want to show some more pictures because Vonciele has been doing her thing. This was a photo that, I'm nosy, y'all. So when I have an artist coming, I'm going through everything. Do you hear me?
I
So
see.
this is a picture of Vonciele and none other than Mr. Steve Harvey. Tell me about that event just briefly.
That was his father-in-law's birthday that he wanted her to do, and it was in the Lorraine Hotel, that's in Memphis.
Yes, yes.
They put a stage in there, and it's a real
Wow.
intimate, small stage. That's where he had the birthday party. Was in that room, very intimate, and there were a lot of good people, that were there that night and stuff. He hosted it. Um, for Gladys to sing and stuff. He's a really nice person. He's a really
Mm,
cool person. Every time I've been around him, I mean, he's funny, but he's really a nice guy.
yeah.
That's what I like about him. That he doesn't let none of this go to his head or anything. He's just cool.
Absolutely. None other than Miss Angela Bassett with Vonciele. Tell me about Angela.
Very, very nice person. She was doing that was one of the first films that she did for what's the movie? We were
Was
in London. That's at Royal Albert Hall backstage.
Oh, wow.
And she was there filming when we
Was
were
it What's
there.
Love Got to Do with it?
It was one of those the Wakanda things
Oh,
that
wow.
she was
Yes.
doing when she was there. Just,
Beautiful.
just great, a great lady. I met her, saw her before in LA at a museum. And she's just very, I
Mm,
mean, you speak to her, she's going to speak back. She's going to,
yes.
she's just a really down to earth kind of person, you
I
know.
love that. I
Yeah.
love that.
I was like, they was like, Angela Bassett. And I was like, where's she at? I got to go and get a
I gotta
picture
go
with
see
her.
her. That's
Yes.
right. That's right. And you've been to the White House as well, none other than Kamala Harris. Tell me about just being there. We read about these places, but not
Mhm.
only did you get to go and visit, but you performed. I see your inner ears around your neck, so that
Mhm.
means you was doing some singing. Tell me a little bit
Yes.
about this day before we go.
I think that was one of the first ones where we went to. It was the African convention that they,
Mm,
whatever they call that thing when they all come together. Um, and we actually sang. We did about 30 minutes, I think, of a show. And of course, Joe Biden, he wants to meet everybody. So his whole
okay.
thing was, put him in the red room and I want to meet everybody. He came
Wow.
in, I mean, just like, now I'm gonna take a picture with you and I need to take one. I mean, he just loved, he became common for that moment. I was like, but you're the president, but
Wow.
he was they were all very nice people, very common. And I was like,
Yes.
okay, I get that.
Okay, down to earth, down to earth.
Mhm.
Monsieur, this has been an amazing show. I just have a couple more questions for you, and then I want to do a rapid fire. Let's see. I have to ask this question. I know that there are a few people who would get me if I don't. So, Herdy Randolph is asking, what was it like working with Michael Jackson?
It was great to see him as he's creating. Um, very, very, very nice, but he's very shy. And
Hmm.
for the first couple of sessions that we had with him, he stayed up in the producer's room and he didn't really come down and get with us. It was after we were there, maybe the second or third time, and he came in the room and basically became, got common and stuff. At
Yes.
first, he was kind of standoff. He didn't know, we were fans, thrill
Right.
seekers, or whatever. But it was really watching him create stuff and how he thinks about stuff was really great. He filmed everything. So
Wow.
cameras were always going while we were in the studio. And I just saw not too long ago they had leaked one of the songs that we were doing.
Oh,
We
wow.
were in the dark, but I mean, we were sitting around in a circle and we were learning it. One of the songs that he did, and I was like, I wonder how they got that. But I've seen it
Oh,
on,
my
around
goodness.
Facebook and different other places. But he's
Yes,
really
indeed.
he's really a cool guy to work with.
That is so awesome. So awesome. Vancil, you have been an amazing guest. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for sharing so much history, so much wisdom, and just for your kindness. Thank you for what you have done for so many artists. Like I said, without people such as yourself, the artist is alone. They need the background vocalist. And I don't care how good AI gets, it's
Right.
nothing like real heart, and real soul.
For real, for true,
For
for
true.
true, for true.
For true.
I thank you for having me. Um, I'm because I'm not a interview kind of person. I don't think so anyway. And I really didn't think. I kept going. I ain't gonna have nothing to talk about for no hour or nothing like that. But but I do. I appreciate it. I thank you. Um, I've learned something here, and it's kind of brought me a little bit more out of my shell. So
Good.
I'm always grateful for that. That I can step into new things and learn and be like, okay, I could do that again.
Yes,
It didn't kill me. It didn't hurt me. But
that's
the
right.
guy you were saying from what was it? Where is he from? San
From
Francisco.
Tacoma or
Um,
from San Francisco?
I'm not sure, but I am on Instagram. If you look for me,
Yes,
friend me there if you'd like to. I will friend back once I get on. But
absolutely.
I'm easy. I love people, so I collect friends.
I know
So
that's right. Yes,
you know,
indeed. Like with Vonciele, what you see is what you get. What you're hearing tonight is definitely her personality, definitely her spirit, and you should follow her. She is someone that you need to know, and you can definitely connect on social media. Her name is the same, Vonciele, last name Faggett, Faggett, correct? Double T as
yes.
well. Yes,
Uh-huh.
Faggett. Okay. So make sure that you all connect. Again, it has been a blessing. It's been a privilege. James Beaver Miller, he has to go. He has to do a treatment. He has some things going on, so we are lifting him up. But he said
Yes.
he loved the show, and that was the one that said he is your fan and has been following you for years. So beautiful. Thank you for being here with us tonight, Beaver. Also, Trina Latrice is watching. Thank you, my sister, for tapping in. She is showing love. Thank you so much for watching tonight. A rapid fire before you go, Vonciele. So one quick answer as I ask these questions. You ready?
I think.
I think so too. Your favorite destination?
Let's see. I guess it would be Paris
Oh, Paris. Okay. Favorite way to relax?
on the beach in
Ooh,
Hawaii,
nice.
preferably.
Okay, I know that's right. Look, she's saying, and if I get to choose the location, Hawaii. Vocal warm-ups or nah?
No, I will do some scales. Just trying to get the throat warm and that kind of stuff. I do some. I'm
Awesome,
not that kind of
awesome.
vocalist.
Okay. What's your favorite song on stage? Do you have one?
On stage now with her.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. It would probably be not so popular for I guess the public, but "Oh What a Love." It's
Mm.
a great song, and she sings the heck out of that song.
Beautiful, beautiful. Marvinetta Clay is tapping in. Also, one
Okay.
of our singers that was in Las Vegas Mass with us.
Mhm,
She's an artist as well out of Las Vegas. Thank you for tapping in, sis. She said,
mhm.
yes, awesome. This has been an awesome show for sure, for sure. Bonsil, do you have a hidden talent?
Um, I don't think so. Maybe just I guess the conversation with people. 'Cause I
Mm.
love conversation.
Beautiful, beautiful. That means more interviews to come. Like you said, I ain't done yet. So more interviews to come. Do you have a favorite scripture or Bible character?
Yes. Not a real character, I guess, from the Bible, other than Jesus, because I love some of the situations
Yes.
he got into. It can kind of parallel my life and help me to know how to get out of trouble and stuff. Um, but I've always, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all that glory would be added unto, but to
Yes.
seek him first in all things.
Beautiful. I love that. Marvinetta says she has many talents. So very true. So many talents.
He
Thank you
has many
all.
talents.
She said, and you do too, Marvinetta. I know that's right.
Hmm.
Thank you all so much for tapping in tonight. Let me tell you, every Thursday, just pull up. We live, okay? With different artists week after week. Tonight, our artist, Vonciele Faggett, has come to us live from what city you in again?
Asheville, North Carolina.
Asheville, North Carolina, y'all. She traveling. She's booked and busy with none other than Miss Gladys Knight, making her dreams come true. God is amazing. Vonciele, thank you. I appreciate you so, so very much. And I look forward to talking to you again one day. You're welcome here anytime.
Yes, ma'am. And I'll come and be nosy sometimes and check in, see what you're doing.
That's right. Come in and check on me, okay?
I sure will.
Yes,
I sure will.
indeed. You all have a blessed evening and we will talk to you soon. Remember, if I haven't told you all, that Talented Thursdays is now on Amazon, Spotify, and Apple with more places to come. So make sure you follow the podcast, Talented Thursdays with Kimberly. Look, I can't even say my own name with Kimberly Eichelle, okay? I'll see y'all next week. See you next week. Thank you again for the love and for tapping in. Any last words, Vonciele? I will leave the floor for you.
Um, just love on Jesus, and wherever He wants you to go, whatever He wants you to do, just know that that's the place for you because He knows all. He created us, for His glory, but He has given us such a great platform to go out into, and such a great place for us to express our talents and our love for Him. So just let Him be God in your life and follow what He's telling you to do, and trust me, you will surpass everything that I've ever done.
Oh my goodness. Y'all heard it here. Y'all heard it here on Talented Thursdays. None other than Miss Vonciele. We'll see you all next week. Be blessed. And remember, follow Jesus. Like she said, He makes my dreams come true. See y'all next week. All right.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. Bye, y'all.
Thank you for watching. Please support by subscribing to Talented Television on YouTube.